Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bond, in this evening edition of Fire of Liberty, transcending space and time throughout the entire universal creation of what has already transpired and what only will transpire, and the accelerated transformation of what is to be the creational aspect of what shall be, and what, of course, is the transitional creationalistical aspect of what is the formation of that which is the ultra-conducive condensation of the fruition of what is put together by the very conducive nature of the flow-aspectic and fluidic nature of what is ultimately the creation of what is the ultimate 3579, and then of course 9, 12, 15, 21, beyond into 30 and the 40s and the 90s, dimensional aspects of what is the reality that is in creational form in the physical. And what's very exciting is, well, not necessarily just exciting, but very true, is realistic realization and the realistic motions and movements, which are in order to cement, which is ultimately one of the main key characteristics of what actually happens. There's of course higher dimensional powers that which of course cement higher dimensional frequencies into our frequencies, which of course in order to allow ourselves to move forward, not necessarily just moving forward but anchoring that which already is, recognizes that we can therefore access not only our unlimited potential but actually realize and then witness and then therefore kind of observe from our unlimited perspective of our unlimited nature, not only our unlimited capacity of what happens when higher densities, for example, step in, but also the teachings and the knowledge that are, of course, represented when the higher densities step in. And that's a very key and important thing and a very magical thing at the same time. It is a very frequent thing because it's an important process as we, for example, for ourselves, let ourselves allow this evolutionary, higher evolutionary type of step and transition into this age of where we can not only accept the higher frequencies into this language per se of interaction, which is a formation of magic, but also I mean as in formation of magic, as in as in magic in the making, as in movement as magic is magic in the making, and then also the fruition of what is already in the foundational creationalistical aspects of what is foundational creational aspects of that foundation, which is due from the very basic foundations of what is magic in the first place, or what is the magicalistical creational aspects of what makes up those solid foundations of what ultimately creates above and beyond architectural, listical, angelical, listical designs, etc. And then, of course, what's very important is, of course, not only that we recognize, and of course it's obviously been recognized, but the limitlessness that therefore exudes and exists from those aspects. What's very key is not only the architectural design, which is a very fruistical, recognizable thought form, but the thought form which exists in the limitlessness of what is to build, recognize, creationalistical, transcendentalistical, and as a sort of understanding of what the kind of combination exists with, which is what is already apparent, which is one of the ideas of a ultimately a melting pot. And what does that mean? Now, one of the major things is the ability, or major idealistical foundations for an idealistical foundation is the foundation of what is, of course, the elements, and then, of course, combined with ether, of course, combined with just imagination. So it's quite simple, but at the same time, it's quite an accelerated, very, very, very advanced process to combine what is evolutionary with what is imaginary, and that is an important key factor which is needed to accelerate the very potential of what is the potential of a coherent evolutionary, responsible, of course, accountable, of course, and ultimately transcendental evolution, race, species, planet, and then, of course, universe. And absolutely, this foundation as a galaxy is a functional type of format that allows ourselves to not only be more fluid and interactive with our own unit, and that's a very key thing that's going on nowadays, is that recognition of that flow right down to the microscopic level, or the micro or the macroscopic level, in which we can interact ourselves with the interactive galactic component of that which we are, and ultimately with the galactic component, with what it means to interact with what we can do now as full-fledged, which has already been known, but full-fledged galactic citizens in this now day and age. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bond, on this evening edition of Fire of Liberty 2017, to the 1st of August, transcending space and time with the elevation, creation, and evolution of paradise on Earth, with the expedited fruition, acceleration of the expedition that is occurring, and that I transcend to accelerate as a creator being throughout the entire universe with will, potential, and with transcendence. Love you all.